Good evening and welcome to Nice Drop Report. We are back live this evening, joined by Matt, Robbie, and Nathan is back in the house. We've got lots to discuss this evening. That dramatic 4-4 draw, Adelaide at home, lots to discuss. VA penalty decision disputes, things have been overturned since the game. And we're also going to be figuring out the connotations tonight of just what it's going to take to win the Premier Plate. It looks like we're already there, so we'll be talking about that as well. All right. First of all, welcome, Matt, back to the show. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me, as always. Yeah,
that's okay. You always add a lot. You always add a lot. We've been talking a lot about Birmingham before the show, and had to shut you up at one point. Yeah, it's an Auckland FC podcast. Robbie, how you going, mate?
Good, thank you, gents. Thanks for having me back on. It's a busy week. It's a cracking game on the weekend too.
Cracking game on the weekend. It was quite out there. Nathan, welcome back, mate. How are you going?
Very good, thank you, Dale. Nice to be back. Pleasure to see you too, Robbie and Matt.
Likewise.
Yeah, nice one. All right, well, let's kick off with that game. 4-4. I've been kind of calling for a big scoring game all season. I reckon I've been itching for it. I was in the port, back in the port this week with my daughters. Well, one or two of them were doing other things, but we were generally in the port, and right at the back, it was kind of cool. You know, right at the back, we had a great view of that first goal, Guillermo Mai, who we were sort of like right in the middle of the stand, and the moment he left his foot, I could see it was going to curl into the goal. He's doing so well, Guillermo Mai. Nathan, what you've been tracking it all year. What do you reckon about Guillermo?
I think I would eat a huge amount of humble pie on Mai, because I think I was on here maybe the second week you did the pod or whatever, and I was saying I do not think this guy's got much in his locker, right? I was saying, you can't.
We've all had to do that.
Yeah.
You're not the only one on this podcast, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think fair play to him. You could always see he was industrious, right? But he has clearly got he's got a really good football brain, and he's got a really good skill set, as you can see. And now he's adding these screamers to his locker. It's pretty. He's very impressive. It's very impressive.
Yeah. I just think it's that combination with him and Max Mata that's really unlocked him. I think we'd kind of all seen it, and I think where you were coming from was that he's just not that prolific kind of looking genuine 15, 20 goal striker, but put him in a partnership where he's got that support around him. He looks so good. And any defense, if you give him space 25, 30 yards out, top of the D, it's just going to go in the goal. It's uncanny how he's been able to do that pretty regularly. But yeah, hell of a player. I'm glad we're seeing the best of him.
I mean, you think that goal was interesting because most of the time in a game you're that far out, because he's fully 30 yards there, give or take, isn't he? And he's on this. He's going across the goal. He's not even running out the ball, and so he's got to wrap his foot around it. And you think from there, go on, then hit it. If you do the opposition, you think, you're not scoring from there, bro. And like to get it the way that it was phenomenal, really phenomenal, great, sublime technique, really up there.
Yeah, and he got the tap in for the second goal as well, which you want from your strikers, getting those nuggety little goals,
the ugly ones,
causing nuisance at the near post. Yes, I think he's. What about you, Matt? What about Guillermo? Picked it up.
Yeah, I mean, one of my points was going to be, actually, I think what's making him play as well as he is playing is that I think I tried to watch what Mata does, and actually Mata does a lot of the dirty stuff, the hard stuff, the running stuff, the pulling the defense, moving here, moving there. Again, we always talk about since he's played, May's been well, but I think that is one of the reasons. What might be quite interesting is that if more teams are seeing, what May's doing or May's doing, there might be a bit more chance for Mata to be. He's not that type of player that's going to play off the shoulder, but I feel like people are going to know what he's going to do. He can strike it from the box. You'd think that's going to start pulling a bit of the defence out, look for Mata or look for someone like Brimmer or. We'll get onto our ratings. I thought Rogerson was good. I thought he had another really good game. So these are the types of things. Mata's doing the dirty stuff.
All right, here's Matt's ratings.
This was tough. I tell you, this was the hardest rating I think I've. When a game goes 4-4, it's really difficult because you want to give people points for because you've managed to score 4 goals, but the team has to almost hold their hands up when they concede 4 goals. But there's my.
Why have you given De Vries? He's given De Vries 8.5. Well, I'll read them out for the. Hold on, let's read them out for the audio audience. We've got Paulson 6, De Vries 8.5, Pinnaker 6, Smith 6, Sakai 7.5, Moreno 7, Gallios 6, Brimmer 7, Rogerson 8, Mai 9, Mata 7.
Yeah, I feel like it's a difficult one because when I looked at the numbers, they were just all over the place. You've got a high number in a 9 and an 8.5. I want to get onto the positive stuff first, but De Vries got 2 assists. Whenever you get 2 assists from left back, you're always going to be looking at a pretty decent number. The guys on the sides were good. Sakai and De Vries, I don't think there was much problem. Everything was coming straight through the middle. That's why, looking at my numbers, that's why Gallegos got a 6. Pinnaker got a 6. Smith got a 6. They were pretty average when Adelaide...
we conceded a lot of goals, so I guess you might take from the scoreline that we were a little bit soft at the back in that kind of those defensive roles, and obviously up front the boys did it.
Yeah, and also I think the person that probably got away with the mark, I was almost going to dip below 6. Was Paulson. I actually thought Paulson had another poor week. I think he's had back-to-back quite poor weeks. The first goal, I've tried to watch it back. I'm thinking, could he have done a bit more for the first? I'm not quite sure. But the penalty, he read the penalty. He got down. He got a hand to it. He got a hand to it. But you think you get a hand to it, you do a bit more, and then he kind of.
I think you're being a bit harsh.
I think you're being harsh as well.
A bit harsh.
Robbie's a goalie, so he might say that. I guess
that's back to back. Previous week he was I didn't think he was that great, and I think this week he wasn't particularly great either. So
can I pick up on the point of Paulson? And I don't know if they showed it on the TV, but both penalties he was about to face, he turns round and faces into his goal. Did they run that bit on the telly here?
No, I saw that in the broadcast. Yeah,
I don't know if I've seen that much before. Is that a thing now, or is that an Alex thing?
It's just a personal thing. I can't recall seeing him do that before, like last season at Wellington. It's just a mind game thing to me. Like
it might be it might be a reaction thing, right? It's one of those things you spin around and you've not got any preconceived ideas where the ball's going to go in your head, right? So the guy runs up, hits it, and you're just relying on your reaction. That would be my guess.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so there you go.
I gotta say, Matt. You can't blame him for the penalty. Either penalty. That is not acceptable.
I just thought.
Shilton got gloves to all those penalties in 1990 against the Germans.
I thought
Shilton got a long dated reference.
The first goal.
Sorry. The first, maybe.
The first goal. 100%. He's got to do way better than that first goal.
Yeah.
It's just like he gets his gloves on the ball. You've got to push it out. You've got to push it over the bar, whatever. He basically pushes that. It's going in. And
we're talking about their first goal. That was the flick on, right?
The header at near post.
The flick on the flick on takes the goalie out the game, though.
I thought it was the near post defender. Personally, I thought, but
I just thought he was a bit, the penalty with the hand. He got two, like you said, he got 2 hands on the first one. I'm not going to, even the last one, but I think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, the last one, because the last one just was a bit of a scramble. He could have knocked it. He couldn't. It was all
tired legs for that. For the fourth goal.
The last one. De Vries got done on the outside for that last goal, and that was tired legs.
Yeah, and that was 8.5.
Seeing as wrong goalkeeper, I just want to point out the Adelaide goalkeeper Cox. He has had a stinker. That is possibly the worst display of goalkeeping I've seen in professional football. That was horrendous.
Yeah,
that guy's goal. It's just horrendous. Isn't it?
I thought Paulson was poor, but he wasn't the worst goalkeeper on the pitch.
Robbie, I don't think Robbie agrees with me here.
They were both really poor.
Yeah, Ethan
Four,
Cox.
four. It was 4-4
General
for Adelaide.
consensus on this side was that the Adelaide keeper had a stinker. So yeah.
Are we
agreed.
saying so Auckland's third goal, the De Vries corner? Are we saying the goalie was massively at fault on that one?
Oh yes,
He should have done better, 100%.
But he should have done better. But and again, I had a perfect view of it, and you know what? It was an awesome corner. He absolutely whipped it in with
on a dime,
with height and pace to land.
Yeah,
spinning inwards. I mean, it was the perfect corner.
It was straight on Rogerson's head. He just had to
turn the goal.
Yeah,
and I said to Scarlett, you won't see a more perfect corner than that. It just boom on his head, boom. It was so. Maybe the keeper should have come and I don't know.
With that, from a keeper's perspective, and Thomas Sorensen on the A-League's Download podcast said it as well, because you see, I think it's the in-goal replay of that melee on where the keeper's standing. If he takes a step back, he keeps his feet planted underneath Mata and his defender. You're never going to get to the ball in that situation. You got to step out and give yourself
space
and go forward to get there.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I think the other issue when I watched it back was it's definitely a tactic where you always try and put your big man on the goalkeeper, and you sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. The goalkeeper you always usually gets the benefit of that. But I think what they're doing in that one is that they actually put a defender between Rogerson and the goalkeeper, and actually when the ball came over and when Rogerson went to head it, the goalkeeper couldn't get anywhere near it because the defender was in between the two of them. He couldn't get over the top of
correct.
And because
he kept his feet planted, he didn't move
and he
around.
kept him planted, and he just couldn't get anywhere near it. So the tactic to protect the goalkeeper has actually gone against. Yeah,
it's backfired. Yeah,
it's backfired. Yeah.
But the quality of the corner, man, like
seriously,
it's good.
It has to be good.
Spot on.
Fast and came from a height, which is hard to do. Yeah, it was a great corner. So that was 3-1, and then the big talking point is the Verstraete tripping the attacker.
Well, I think
the penalty.
I think just before that, I think my issue was that Auckland were 3-1 up at the 55th minute, and that's when he caught Verstraete on. And I just think, if Corica, if he's going to get I feel like if he's going to get a little bit of a mark against him, I thought actually Auckland still looked pretty good. I thought it was one of those ones where if it ain't broken, why try fix it?
It's Verstraete carrying an injury. We're trying to sort of get him back bit by bit.
He came back on in the 55th minute, and he came on for Galagos or something. He must have come from maybe Brimmer. So really, it's hard to argue that he's gone from attack minded, but he's definitely gone defensive. And I just think why at that point, why it didn't look like Adelaide had any really point of getting. They didn't seem to have any leverage in the game, and he changed things at 55 minute. He brought Verstraete on. I don't know. I felt like
that's about when you make changes for tired legs, though, Matthew. You know, it's that.
Yeah, but hey, after 55 minute, within God knows how long from being 3-1 up, there were 3-2, and there were 3-3.
Sometimes a little change can go either way. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I just thought it wasn't broken. I just didn't think it looked that. I thought Auckland looked actually pretty comfortable at 55 minutes, and I'm just thinking what changed? If you go on, I know I hate video stats for Prats, but if you go on Foot Marvel, whatever, they'll show you the what's the word I'm looking for? The pressure each team is receiving, and it changes on a dime. It changes on the 55th minute. It goes from one to the other.
Yeah, Verstraete is averaging 2.8 fouls per 90 minutes. Apparently, is that good or bad?
I thought less than 3.
For a midfielder, that would be pretty decent.
I think that's
a holding midfielder as well.
Yeah. Third most in the league.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Most fouls. So normally it's less. That is interesting.
But anyway, as you were saying, that when the penalty happens about 4 minutes later, isn't it? Something, 59 minutes.
Yeah. So the pen happens. I mean, the ref doesn't give it. The game goes on. It's called back by the VAR assistant. And so the VAR assistant to call back the game has to have what's the parameters? They have to just have a really strong feeling about it. I mean, what is the benchmark for stopping the game and saying, actually, you got it wrong, ref? Because we know what the ref sometimes goes to the VAR, but this is different, right? The VAR say, no, you got it wrong.
Yeah. VAR in this instance has told referee Daniel Elder, we think you should have a look at this or look at it again. He's done it. At the time, they seemed to think it met the threshold for a foul in the box, contact within the box.
Yeah.
It's since come out and said, no, it didn't meet the threshold, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, what's that about? They came. What's the point of them coming out and saying that? Like, we don't get the points back, do we?
I guess it's to do with accountability, really. I mean, it's.
Did they come out and say it wasn't a foul?
Yeah, this
week. Yeah,
the governing body has come out and said to the club that it should not have been a penalty.
Wasn't it something it didn't meet the threshold?
Yes.
I thought, I thought it wasn't necessarily, it wasn't a foul. It was just that it wasn't a.
It was just contact in the box. Yeah.
But
it's
we
weird
messaged
in
each
that
other and said we thought it was a pen. I thought it was a pen, but I think you.
I thought it was a pen as well. Like looking at the replay, I thought he's knocked him over. It's a foul inside the box. Therefore,
that's right.
I've seen him given. I mean, it could have gone.
Yeah, I guess you're on either side of it in that you're filthy. It's given, but at the same time, you understand why it's given.
Yeah.
He's taken
and
ball and leg, and then it's always like, well, what?
Yeah, if that's anywhere else on the pitch, it's a foul, right? It's a free kick, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. As soft as it is, it is a free kick. So you go, all right, in the penalty area, it's a penalty. But I feel like the issue for me really is that the game went on so far, and actually, it is a bit soft. Right, it's you're kind of in that grade, so I can kind of see why they've come out and said it was an incorrect call if that's the case. I just thought I thought what they were saying was that it was the way that the VAR was used rather than it not being a foul,
well that was part of it as well. They said VAR was incorrect to call the referee over to have a look.
So there's a threshold that person's got to get to do that, and that he didn't get that right. It should have. Yeah, I see.
I always wonder as well when in those situations whether the feel of the game ever comes into it. I mean, it's for a match official, I guess not. It can't really, but just even on the eye test at the time, Adelaide, who went down as the Adelaide player, he just got up. He didn't, he wasn't complaining. He wasn't. Throwing his arms around. They just carried on playing. I don't think anyone appealed, which makes it even worse, I think.
Yeah.
When you're the ref, it probably makes a big difference. If people aren't throwing their arms up in the air and complaining, you might miss it. That's why they do it, right?
It's like in cricket, an umpire can't actually give someone out if you don't appeal. So
football isn't that, but I hear what you're saying.
No, football isn't cricket. You're right.
It's not supposed to be. This isn't a cricket podcast.
It's just not cricket. Maybe that's the title called here.
I don't like cricket. I love it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. So the pen, and then there was another one. I can't remember how much time had passed, but it seemed like the second one came quite hot on the heels. I actually thought that one was a little bit more. I don't know, like the Adelaide player, he looks for it, doesn't he? Like he puts his head down and he runs into a melee of legs.
Yeah,
a melee of legs. And I actually think those penalties are a bit soft. Like, what do you think's going to happen to you if you run into a melee of legs? You're going to fall over.
Yeah, this one I just think if the other one he hasn't given and they've told him to have a look,
I don't like the second one.
Why can't you flip that round and say I've given a penalty? But it looks a bit. Does it work the other way? Can a referee give a penalty?
Yeah,
it looks a bit soft. Can you just make sure you've made the right call?
Yeah, that's when you get the ball down real quick and take the pen quick, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think they can. I don't think it's like that in rugby. I don't think they can do that because
that looks soft.
Behind
something.
I, from the top, I'll say I had no problem with this. The process with it. So when I'm producing a game, I'm actually able to hear what VAR is saying and hear what the referee is saying, just so it's so I can pass on information to the commentator quickly.
Cool.
The process generally is VAR and the assistant VAR will tell the referee delay. They check everything. They constantly check everything, so that there's never an opportunity to put the ball down, shoot, and score.
Yeah.
So they would have had a look at that. And I think they would have seen reasonably quickly, and to why I thought it was a straightforward pen. There's contact. Yes, he's looking for it. any attacking player in that situation will be looking for a penalty.
But what are the defenders supposed to do? Like, they can't get out of the way of that. I mean, it's like, it's a very cunning way to win a penalty.
No, they can't. But
I'm not saying it's illegal, but it's very cunning. That
he dangles
100% it is.
I think he dangles a leg.
He dangles a leg, but the thing is, he never loses control of the ball at any point. So he's running at pace.
Yeah.
He takes a touch. If the ball is ballooned off his leg and it's not going anywhere near the goal, then I think they have more of a chance of looking back at it and saying this isn't a pen. But at no point,
he kept it so tight.
He maintains control, which I thought was actually quite outstanding on his part.
The
fact that he's moving that quickly.
I actually think the fault lies with Smith, who gives away the penalty.
Yep.
I think that he's coming in on the wrong side.
Yes.
He's coming in on the wrong side of the attacker, and that he's got Pinecker like covering him. He doesn't actually need to even make the challenge, really, even though as soft as it is, because Pinecker will literally cut it off. He doesn't, because Smith then makes his thigh grazes him, or whatever happens, and he goes down. I think a man of Smith's experience really should have known better there. Really, he put himself in the wrong position, and he got they got the pen for it. Yeah. So I agree.
And it doesn't take much it doesn't take much contact for a player to go down in that situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though they are always going to be looking for it.
Yeah. I do think the pens were a symptom of the strength of Adelaide's attack, actually. Like, I think of all the teams we played this year, both games we've felt most under pressure from Adelaide. Like, I do think they have been the team that's really stood toe to toe with us both games, and they did again this weekend. And then and so 3-3. You guys weren't at the game, but the crowd was pretty furious with this VAR decision. The referee got a heap of stick. Like, I thought, who'd be a referee? Like, and then you hear it float around the port. They're like, he's an Australian as well. It's like,
aren't they all though?
And I'm thinking they're probably most of them are.
Yeah.
That's I take a bit of issue with that, just because I think it's lazy as a supporter to do something like that, and just the stuff that because he's from Adelaide, he's always going to have an Adelaide bite.
He's just doing his job.
Is he from Adelaide? Is that right?
Is he from Adelaide?
Apparently, I think he is. Yeah.
No.
But that doesn't.
That's a bit. Wow.
But what it does do, Robbie, is it leaves you open to that kind of criticism, doesn't it? If you're an Adelaide,
it does.
I mean, it's the Spurs game,
But the thing is, so there's 18 referees that have been used in the A League. Daniel Elder's one of, I think, 5 or 6 with over 100 games. So he's one of the most experienced. You don't get to be a professional referee refereeing 100 professional games with claims of bias and showing bias to a team. That just doesn't happen in pro sport. Yeah. And I'll back it up with some stats. Adelaide have only won 5 of 16 games that he's done. If he's got a bias, that would be a hell of a lot higher. Adelaide have conceded more goals under Daniel Elder than they've actually scored.
Okay.
There's no bias. It's bollocks. Absolute bullshit.
I like how you've turned up with receipts. I like it. I like this.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
But I think
blaming
once
the ref.
again, I'm just glad Robbie's here. Once again,
Nathan's point still stands. Is that because you're from Adelaide, it leaves you open to it.
Of course,
it still doesn't. It still makes you culpable to a degree.
But there aren't many referees of his caliber, of his experience in the A-League available. The alternative is, if you take him out, take 100 games of experience match official out. I think you're leaving yourself open to a referee that only comes in, does 2-3 games and takes control of this game. I'd rather have a referee, in this instance from Adelaide, who's this experienced and is actually one of the best referees. Again, I'll go back to hearing what the referees are saying during a game. He has got the best comms to players and his team, his match official team, that I've ever heard. He's clear. He doesn't take crap from the players. He shows them respect. He doesn't swear at them. I've heard refs swear at players. And he's just, he handles himself so well. I've got no problems with him as a referee. And I just think fans who go down that track are just lazy.
I think that matters a rest.
I think you're fair. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
Oh, it's
absolutely.
very comprehensive. That was Robbie.
Robbie's really made sure that we've been put in our box in that one. Yeah.
I spent an hour or two writing notes about this. It's got me really pissed off.
I can see the work that's been given to it, so I'm happy to relinquish to you. Yeah, I'm more than happy to. Yeah. No, good on you. I think you're right. It's the hardest job in the.
It's tough.
I mean, this could be a podcast. This could be a show on its own. But I've always thought that anything that's subjective, you should just leave to the field. If he gives a penalty, fine. Anything that's factual, like if you're offside, you're offside. If the ball goes over the line, it goes over the line. You can't argue with that. They're all factual things that you can see with your own eye. But when it comes to penalties and fouls and yellow cards and red cards, leave it to the guy on the field, and you just
agree.
With it.
I agree
because it's all subjective. And you could. All four of us could have a different opinion on one matter. Yeah.
Ultimately, when you look at the games, just take those kind of decisions out of it. Was he wrong at any point? No. Was there anything that was horrendously wrong?
It was a frenetic game. I thought he refereed it fine. I mean,
I think he did fine.
The Port and fans in Auckland FC, they're just very partisan. Just very.
They're looking for someone to blame, but I think they need to look at the defense and the team.
And also
that side of it.
And also, things are going really well for us generally,
Or the VAR.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, I'm out. Mic drop. I'm done.
Cheers, Rob.
Yeah, man. Mateus Jr., he's called you Robinho. How awesome is that? Good stats, Robinho. That's awesome.
I'll take it.
Brazil. Yeah.
I think anyone who wants to doubt this referee again has to spend the whole of the next match in the Ferris wheel with Robbie, explaining to them all these.
You can't come off until you've gone. You write a letter saying I totally accept what Robbie says and signed.
And they have to pay my airfares back to Auckland to get onto the Ferris wheel at Mount Smart. Yes,
done.
Done deal. All right. Goal number 4 was Sakai, the captain, and what I loved about it, obviously being there, we thought we'd won the game again. It was just another fairy tale, But watching the goal back, I love the way he gets his own rebound.
Yeah,
he scores from his own rebound. That shows the hunger of this guy, and you see him he is pumped, to be part of it and lead the team and model professional, What we know what we think of Sako. We think he's great, but he seems to be. He's had this injury. He's come back, gone from strength to strength. Really.
Yeah, agree. And that's what you want from your marquee, your captain, your big name signing. The big players turn up at the big moments, and he was there. You can't ask for much more than that.
He was.
Mine's just quick. I was actually gutted for him that he didn't walk off with that being the winner. He's the one that I felt for the most because, it was his first goal? No, yes,
second,
second goal.
Yeah, he scored ahead of someone, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah, but it's just a shame. I felt for him that he didn't walk off, and that was the winner, because you're right. So he was in a place where he shouldn't have really been. He was practically playing the number 9. Got his head on it, and then stuck it in the.
No one was near him. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. And then what happens there? Someone Rail Prime Turner was put on the post. I think the only thing wrong on Saturday was not parking the bus after the 4th goal. Does anyone sort of agree with that? That we could have somehow? It was so frenetic, so late. What could Korok have done differently in those dying moments? Anyone?
He'd already played his hand though, hadn't he?
That's what I mean. But parking the bus means. But that means changing the formation. That don't mean changing the players. That means
But like I said, we scored in the 90. Yeah, we scored in the 91st, and there was another. Does anybody do anything in those last God knows how many minutes that they had on to the end of the game? I don't know.
Just the legs are so tired. I guess you do. There would be a call, but would there be a call you're 3-3, then you get your winner? Would there be a call to change the formation to sit on it, or would it just be so late you just keep going?
It wouldn't be a change formation, would it? I think probably the argument is that you sit a little bit deeper, and you soak up pressure that's coming into the box. Your big centre halves head the ball away and whatever, and every time you just knock it into the corner, let your strikers run after it or whatever, try and waste the seconds away. I think that's the thing you can do, right? That's what you see happen, but obviously that wasn't quite the case on Saturday. So I think, is that a bad thing? I don't know. Like, it shows bravery, doesn't it? Kind of shows a bit like we've got our game and we want to play the way we play, but there's a bit of naivety there as well.
Yeah, I was going to use naivety. That's right. I think from a young age, if you score a last minute winner, or not last minute winner, but if you score right at the end, almost your natural response is to go deep. Yeah, everybody does drop, and everyone, and like you said, you look for the corners and you kick it long.
Yeah. But I think we did drop deep, but they got behind us. They got behind us and then got in from the wing. And
that's the thing. Like, I think you're kind of discounting the opposition in this aspect. They're obviously desperate to chase something, so they're going to be throwing everything at you. So there's a bit of a risk in just sitting back and parking the bus, I think. But 100%, they should have done better.
Yeah.
Hey, that last goal, woeful, isn't it? When you look at that, it's woeful. I mean,
97 minutes. I mean, Tommy Smith's, he's played in there for 97 minutes. I used to play with you, Nathan. We'd be knackered after half an hour.
That's right. Yeah. We also were professional footballers.
Yeah, that's right. The caveat. Yeah. I mean, I guess the thing as well is it didn't knock the stuffing out of Adelaide. Some teams would have conceded the 91st minute and gone, that's it. We've run our race. That's it. We've done our best.
Yeah.
4-3.
Which is why the Reds are a danger coming into finals. They are very dangerous. They are very dangerous.
I think they'll be our biggest challengers. I mean, well, let's talk about that. We look like we're going to be there in the playoffs. Adelaide, our biggest challengers. Would you say, Rob?
Yeah, I'd also actually throw the Wanderers in there because they're starting to come good. I think they've won 4 of their last 5, and they're starting to, build up some momentum. It's a tricky one because basically 2nd to 7th, there's only 1 win separating those 6 teams. So they're going to be taking points off each other and constantly fighting. And so until one of that pack starts stringing some W's together, getting that momentum. But based on things, I mean, you can't even discount Western United because they're a very good team as well.
Yeah, we know they can beat us on their day, and we've seen Adelaide run us a bit ragged at times. So
that's why I think Auckland Adelaide's the next great rivalry of the comp. Just based, it's a small sample size of 2, but of the 2 games that they've played, they've been rippers.
No. Yeah.
What are we going to call this derby?
Yeah.
That's something, hasn't it?
I don't even want to think.
Robbie will come up with something.
No,
I'm sure of it. Yeah, no, it's all on you. You can lean on a few bits of expertise or people around you.
I refuse.
I've been through Adelaide. I may have overnighted there once. I think that's about it. Yeah, I got nothing for Adelaide. Nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. Barossa is quite a nice region. Yeah, very good wine.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. All right. So, what are our connotations now? We were talking about this a little bit before the game. Robbie, can you give us the stat? So we're 8 points clear.
With pleasure.
You give us. Give us. Here we go.
So, and Robbie is not a Pratt. I have to disclose as well. Stats for Pratt, but this is an important stat. So everybody, please listen. Yeah.
I'll take that. Not being called a Pratt, absolutely. No, so I'll be honest, I was bored on Monday. I had a day off work and I just couldn't help myself. So I sat down at my computer, opened up an Excel spreadsheet, got the colours out. I was just purely interested on, so there's 8 games left for Auckland FC as leaders of the competition. I was just curious to know if, what's the biggest lead that's been chased down with 8 games left. The answer to that is only 3. So with 8 points, statistically, and over the course of the A-League's 20 seasons, only 4 times has a lead been chased down with 8 games left. But that gap was only 3 points. For example, last season, Wellington, with 8 games left, were 3 points ahead of the Mariners, but then the Mariners won the premiership. So for those who are slightly worried about Auckland
Don't be worried.
bottling it,
Yeah.
statistically, I think
the biggest lead was only, with 8 games to go, was only 3 points to be chased down. We've got an 8-point lead. So it is the Premier Plate is ours unless there's some
basically,
yes.
Just because it hasn't happened before doesn't mean it can't happen.
Oh no, of course not. Of course not.
You sound like a Birmingham City fan.
I sound like a Villa fan.
Yeah, or Villa fan. Yeah, that's right.
Sound like any football fan ever. Eh?
Yeah,
That's right.
It's never over. It's never over.
The peasant, yeah.
But yeah, no, I just found that quite interesting, that correlation. So the biggest, with 8 games left, the biggest gap was 13, and that was season 2019-20, and Sydney FC were flying. COVID season, but they were streets ahead of anyone that year. And then just a random stat: the biggest ever premiership gap was 17 points. Sorry, and that was nearly a decade ago. Sydney FC again won the comp, 66 points, which was the most ever accrued. Actually, just looking at my table.
So what's happened there is that no team. So some team, their biggest gap has only been 3 points with 8 games.
8 games to go that's been overturned. Yeah.
But those
so the team that's been leading with 8 games left in their season.
Yeah.
But those that you mentioned, those ones that have won the Premiership by a fair old amount, have they just got an absolute, like, put the afterburners on in those last 8 games?
No, they weren't 8. This is 2 different sets of statistics, Matthew. They weren't 8. They weren't 8 points. 8 games to go.
8 games.
They were just 2
okay.
at most. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I'm with it.
I'm glad someone understands.
But
go on. You look like you have a question, Matt. Go on.
Go on.
Oh, I do, but I'm worried that I'm going to make myself look an absolute idiot.
Please, go ahead.
There's no such thing as stupid questions. There's just stupid answers.
No.
But no, I'm not going to go there. I can feel it. No, I'm not going to go.
You got it now. You can't not ask the whatever it is. You've got to ask.
No, I can't go
this
there.
far.
I can't go there. I might never have to. I may never return if I go down this whole.
Last chance. No,
I can't do it.
No, okay. The other interesting one I'll throw in there. So there was one season, Melbourne victory in, where was it? 21-22. We're in 7th on 26 points with 8 games left. They picked up 22 points from their last 8 games to finish in 2nd. So they had an absolute flyer. So it's possible for a team to make up ground, but
to do the making up, yeah. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Here's a question. So 8 games to go. Premier Plate.
Is it as good as Matt's would have been?
It'd be better. Kind of in the bag. Does Corica and the team, do we start resting players? Do we start resting players as we get close to the end of the A-League season? I'm thinking people like Tommy that might have, people like Vestrada has been carrying a bit of an injury. Because it's kind of they're dead rubbers, right? If we're last 3 or 4 games.
I'd only do that once it was actually, sealed. I wouldn't want to risk, I wouldn't want to risk it just yet. But if Auckland still manage to keep winning or draws, keep picking up results to the point where it can't, it's mathematically impossible for them to be caught in first, then I'd start looking to bring in some, not making mass changes, but I guess easing those changes in. So making subs earlier in the game, maybe just 1 or 2 changes from players who haven't played much here and there, just to kind of get everyone with a bit of game time coming into the finals.
Because finals footy is going to be like cup games, right? It's kind of form will go out the window. This home and away situation. Obviously, if we hopefully finish top, we finish top, we're going to have an away semi-final first.
Yes,
I think the thing with it is you go. I agree with what Robbie's saying in the sense that if you get to and you've already won the league, it's kind of fine. But the problem is because you're going to be playing these extra games, these cup games, as you call it in the playoffs or whatever. Like, actually, it knocks the rhythm out a little bit if you're suddenly taking people out who are doing a good job and they're going down and suddenly they're out for 2 weeks and then
that's the risk.
They get thrown back in. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it's a very fine line to tread, right?
It's a balance for sure.
Naturally,
but
they've got to stay sharp. Yeah, you're right. You don't want to.
Yeah, they got to stay sharp. But I think there's also a case for just giving players enough rope to kind of keep them hungry and keep them at a decent enough match level as well. Like, I would be a little bit uncomfortable if the same 11 was trotted out for the next 2 months, only for then an injury to happen, something where they ended up taking out their replacement comes in with 0 minutes and match fitness, basically.
Who's our most valuable player now? Who would we miss the most in the finals? Can I go? I'm going to go Guillermo Mai.
Cool.
At the moment, I think he's doing great.
I think maybe. Oh, jeez. Yeah. I don't like to. I always like. I like to pick somebody
as well.
Yeah, I was going to say I like to pick somebody to the middle because they have more influence. But yeah, Matt Stamford, I was going to say Sakai.
And Hall's back. Dan Hall should be back as well. So
everything that comes good through Auckland usually comes through De Vries. I've noticed.
To be honest, man, De Vries.
If you take De Vries out, you lose a lot of assists. Has
he missed many games, De Vries? Has he ever missed a game? I don't think he's missed a game.
I believe so.
Would he be close to being? I suppose this is the question I'm throwing at you. But can you? You must have the same rule where if you pick up so many yellow cards, you get suspended. Yeah, if you get 5 yellow cards, you miss a game. But do they get picked out for the finals?
No, so it's an interesting one. So with the A-League, if you get 5
this is
yellows,
my question.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
No, it wasn't. It was going to be one where I was going to It was one where I was going to absolutely mathematically kill myself. My other question.
I really wish you'd asked
how bad my maths is.
Yeah. So it's 5 yellows, and then you get a game suspension. But it's only up until a team plays 20 matches. After that point, it becomes 8. If you accrue 8 yellow cards, then you get suspended.
Yeah.
How many do we know how many of any of our players are on? But then they're probably going to go over 20 games. So
I was thinking De Vries might be up there. That's the only.
We don't get a lot of yellow cards. I haven't remembered a lot of disciplinary.
No,
problems.
I think Verstraete gets quite a few. I think maybe or Heineken. Yeah.
I'll try and find out.
Yeah. No, that's you. Talk amongst yourselves.
That's what I'm here for.
Semi-finals, semi-finals. So we're looking bang on for a home semi-final, and then all the way through May, we've got these. We're going to have at least 2 games, 2 semi-finals. I was thinking we would go and do some live podcasting again down at the game, definitely in the home one. I mean, this feels like an off-air chat, but maybe we should do the first one down at a bar as well. Down at Tyler Street Garage,
This is just making sure that I do it. You've just hit me with it live. It's all on recording, and now I said yes.
I've asked him to get sponsorship, and I still don't see any sponsors.
Well, yeah.
Sounds like an off-air chat. This
you'd be amazed to sponsor us. Make your toes.
I'm waiting for you. Where do we reckon these semi-finals are going to be, or a grand final? Is there any truth to the rumor that we might switch to Eden Park? Nathan, any thoughts on us doing this at Eden Park instead of?
I don't think it would be a good idea at all. I mean, I think Eden Park's fine for the All Blacks, but there is certainly. It feels like home being at Mount Smart, right? And we feel like we're a team there. We know what we're going to expect. They have the pre-match routines, all that stuff, and the fans, and where the port is, and all that stuff just cumulatively adds together. So it would, for me, be 100% no. And you miss out on a bit of revenue from extra seats being sold, but frankly, I don't think that should play a part.
Yeah.
That's my degree.
I was talking to your friend Nathan Ben about this. Yeah, I thought he brought up this point. He was mentioning that they can do a bit more around Mount Smart Stadium. They can fill those corners. I think the Warriors, they got it to about 30,000. I think maybe he said when they put a few more seats in there.
27 for the derby, so yeah, it can get above 30.
But they can get a bit more. But it's just again playing the, they know that what can Eden Park hold? 55, 60,000 or something. Is that am I about 60, right?
Oh yeah, something like that.
They know that
it's going to be double.
Yeah, they know that if Auckland can get to the final, they'll be able to sell 60,000 tickets.
Yeah, we'd sell Eden Park out for the grand final.
That's
the decision the club's got to make, right? I mean,
yeah, that's the tough one. That's it's a lot of money. You double your revenue one go.
Let's hope they've already made the decision to stay at Mount Smart.
I'd be more open to that if it wasn't the first season. I just think embed ourselves as Mount Smart as our home, and then maybe for the big occasions, maybe further down the road, start bringing the derby there, and then the big finals games. But I'd establish ourselves, give ourselves an identity first. This is our home.
The other issue as well is that it kind of goes back to the referee thing. If you leave yourself open, if you get to the final, you move to Eden Park, and you lose the final. It's just the headlines are going to write themselves, as we'd say. Yeah.
Told you we shouldn't have moved. Yeah.
Well, the club certainly. It's not like the club would be financially relying on a grand final Eden Park, is it? No,
because that goes to the governing body anyway, like the final series.
So there's no value in it probably for Auckland FC. I think would be a shoe-in. I wonder whether the Ferris wheel will continue. We had a Ferris wheel and teacups. It was a circus theme this week. I love it. There's like
they're doing great stuff, aren't they?
We haven't seen anything like this before, really. Such investment in the family element of the game, and it's summertime. It's amazing. Did you
can't fault the club either?
Nathan, have you been on any of the stuff up the other end with your kids?
I wasn't there last week, but they're always on the slide. They love the slide, absolutely love it. When the beach was there, they were on the beach. Yeah, we've got we went to the anchor tent the other week and got pictures of lifting weights. Yeah, it's all they do as much as they can. The only thing they haven't done is the football, because I think that the queues to get into that is huge. It actually really takes ages. So I want to get a beer, so I don't have enough patience to hang around waiting for them for that. But yes, fair point. Yeah. They do.
Hey, we've just had one in the chat, and Angela says that Nathan loves a wee spin on the Ferris wheel. Somebody give some information.
That's my next door neighbour.
Okay, right. Yeah.
I thought is this off-air chat as well?
Like a euphemism for something.
Put it in twice. All right, Angela, calm down.
But again, the queues were so ridiculous. Again, my 10-year-old loves it and finds any reason to get down there. And she found the mum of one of her friends, but the friend wasn't even there. But she went off with the mum who was going there with her boy, and they were still queuing. It took them the whole first half to queue to get on the Ferris wheel, and then I went down half time and they were in the Ferris wheel. And then, and then the teacups again for another half to, I guess my point is the patience of these children. It's incredible.
Yeah. Look, as fathers, do we care?
No.
They're occupied for 45 minutes. Go for it.
I have to say, I didn't care until I will say it was Brooke, who we've had on our show too. She called me and she said, Dale, I've lost Tallulah. She was, I don't know where I don't know where the
then
kids
you care,
are.
yeah.
And I was like, oh no. Well, I cared because it was the 80th minute and the game was getting very tense. And we were like, quick, let's just go and find these kids and hopefully we get back. We just got back for the Sakai goal. But apparently there was a journalist, Bonnie Jansen from the Herald, spent the entire game. We were trying to look to get her on the show, but she spent the entire game on the Ferris wheel.
Well,
I'd be throwing up. I'd be throwing up.
No wonder you had to wait for so long. Somebody was holding the whole
People won't get
Some
for the whole
people got
game.
locked in. Yeah, I mean, like, no wonder.
It's like, hang on a minute, this person's been on it for like 30 odd minutes now. Surely a number's done. Call a number in.
But what I don't understand is what she got out of it. You know, why the whole game? Like,
Yeah.
It's something different, I guess.
Yeah,
I just love the imagery. If it's real or not, I don't know. I've just a child in tears just can't get on. Because there's one cube was locked for the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, just
right.
And then just having story, 90 minutes.
Yeah, the child really wants to get in, and she really wants to get out, but she can't get out, and she can't get in
because the deal's already done. Yeah, she's going to spend
the
whole game.
Yeah,
logistically as well, like having to hold on for 90 minutes jeez.
Apparently,
surely there's a toilet break in there.
I think we should get her on next week. But can you pick this up, Matthew, after the show?
I will.
Yeah.
My sources tell me that next week should be, so we can get
next week. She's free because we do have some questions.
Yeah,
most definitely. But yeah, generally we think the club's doing well with this type of thing, and there's freshen it up, circus this week and something else next week maybe. What else has been in the news? Well, the other thing I wanted to discuss, and obviously it's just social media fodder, right? But there was a little bit of a hoo-ha about one of our TV stations, TV networks. I won't name them, but because there's only one left, it should be fairly easy to work out which one it was. In this, the complaint
one being the operative word.
The complaint on social media. Social media was that Auckland FC was so far down the sport running order. You know, the sport comes on. You know, it was rugby union. Well, I call it the New Zealand trifecta: rugby union, cricket, netball. Right, they were on, and then I think there was some league on. But the real outrage was that we weren't even next after those 3 or 4. Water skiing was above Auckland FC's.
Wow.
Auckland FC story. And I read it and I thought, well, that is typical, you know. So I mean, I guess, and I actually looked back at the timing of when the sport news would have been on, and it would have actually been on at like 6. It comes on at 6:35. You know, the game didn't even end until 7 o'clock. So in this unnamed TV network's defense, they wouldn't have known which way the game was going. You know, it wasn't like they had a report. But it does raise a question. Who wants to answer it? Is the New Zealand sports media completely biased against football? And can we ever change it?
Or is it just a conspiracy?
Anyone want to answer that?
Well, what was the trifecta? What was the trifecta again?
Rugby, cricket, netball.
Oh, cricket. Yeah, okay.
It's the trifecta.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, what a 3. Yeah, I don't know. I wondered this. My point was just going to be, I wonder what's going to happen when the rugby kicks in both. What is it? Codes they call them. So the Super Rugby and the Warriors playing. Yeah, when those two start kicking off or kick in or whatever. Yeah, where are Auckland going to be? Yeah, I was wondering with the crowds as well. I thought that was going to be a sense. You know, do we start to see the crowds? But it doesn't look like it. I don't see why they would dwindle. Yeah, the going's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do we even really care about the 6 p.m. news now?
No,
it seems like it's a
true. Yeah, true.
It's a dying thing. I just like, who cares? Who cares if we're not the lead story? Just we don't need that mainstream old traditional media anymore. Like, it's through things like us. It's through TikTok, social media, all that sort of stuff. The things that the club are already doing to promote themselves. We don't need the validation from a 30-second report on a news, on a news show. I just don't think we do. Like, I'd have more.
I agree.
I'd put more credit on something like Crowd Goes Wild, where they can actually, do, proper reports and all that sort of stuff. There's other outlets now. It's old media's. It's not relevant, I find, anymore. And I say that working for an old media in Australia. Anyway, you just got to be creative with these things.
I'd just like to say, can I change my answer? Yeah, that's what I want. That's my answer. What he said. What he said.
You're agreeing with me far too much, man.
I know. I think it was funny to. Yeah, I don't know. Paulson got you a bit hot under the collar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, a referee.
Not as
don't
much
get
as
me
the
started.
Adelaide. Not as much as Robbie's mates, the Adelaide referee guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's going up for a drink with him afterwards, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
the elder is calling me. Hang on. Yeah. I just it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. Just keep winning, keep getting results. Eventually, they will come around. Like if we get a good finals run, win the A-League, it'll have to be top story at that stage.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't think we don't validate ourselves that way. Absolutely. I mean, I know. Yeah, we won't even go into this. In terms of the crowds, will the crowds drop off now? The Warriors and the rugby's back. I reckon not, because there seems to be a core crowd that goes to every game, because the attendance is always about 15,000, right? 16 for all the games apart from the derby. What I want to know is who are the 10,000 people that will only bother to go to an Auckland FC game because they're playing Wellington. Like I can't understand who the missing 10,000 are. Why don't they go?
I know when we were there for the last Phoenix derby, there's a bunch of Wellington fans behind us. So maybe there's people from Wellington buying tickets, or alternatively, there are also people there going, "Oh, I've never been to a football match before. This is kind of what happens at kickoff." Like, it was like genuine conversations around it. So I was like, "Oh, it's attracting people who don't go to football. Basically, have never had this experience." I think so. Yeah. And plus, the Warriors are rubbish, aren't they? Let's be fair. So it's not going to be that much of a challenge.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good start for them in Vegas, that's for sure. Yeah.
Oh, this is where me and Dale. Yeah, Dale's got the same
look
on his face as probably I have. Yeah, I got no idea.
Oh,
I wouldn't.
Warriors, whatever.
But hey, that's a great answer, though. The fact that those 10,000 are people that may normally not go to football game. Have come to a football game.
Well, they're the floating voters. It'd be great to have those guys.
Yeah,
that's who we want to get. 100%.
They're the ones you target. Yeah.
And there's some other people as well that've been on like podcasts that never go to any games. I know that they sometimes go to one.
Actually.
Yeah, those guys. I tell you what, they need to. They need to buck their bloody ideas.
We weren't sure we were going to have Matt come into that derby. Yeah, we were like, maybe you should just stay in here. In the Lily World.
I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for the live, I think I might not have done. I think I'd have just been sitting there watching it.
You broke your duck though, didn't you? You broke your duck.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Though I feel like that I felt like I really missed out on the 4-4 though. Yeah, I'm a bit gutted that I didn't turn up to that, because there was a ticket or two available there for me.
I tell you what, we did pick up on the live at the ground was Dan Carter. Dan Carter's kids are big into Auckland FC. Yeah. I mean, I guess he goes out with Harley Williams a bit, but when he's down there,
and that's the funny thing. Yeah, a lot of people think there's a lot of crossover for fans. Like I don't call myself in the minority. Like I support several teams across several different sports. If I had the opportunity to go, I'd go. So there's no reason why a Warriors supporter can't go to an Auckland FC game. If you can, I just wonder if teams can start getting creative and start collaborating on things. There doesn't need to be a clear definition. You are a league fan, you can only go to Warriors games. You can only go to Auckland FC games. I would love to see the Warriors and Auckland FC do something together. Do like a game package. Like if the Wars are playing on Saturday, Auckland's playing on Sunday, or the other way around, whatever. Do a 2-for-1 or something like that. Just get creative, because there's
that's a good idea.
Code Wars.
I thought for a moment you were going to talk like the Aussie League, the Aussie rules teams play the Irish teams because they're
yeah.
I thought you were going to say like an Auckland FC Warriors game against each other.
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
those are very interesting. I've seen some of those that
I can't see Guillermo fancying that game much, It's the Warriors.
No, not with a 120 kilo Polynesian fella running straight at him. I don't.
I'd be worried about that. Whatever his name was, it Finn McKinley. He might have to come back in off the bench.
When we get the ginger lad back in, eh?
What's going on? I think he might.
Is he coming back in?
Well, not this weekend. He was dropped from the squad, so
dropped from the squad. All right. Well, let's talk about this week. We got Newcastle away. 4 on the bounce.
And
they've won. Is that right?
3 on the bounce, but unbeaten in their last 5. And the I guess semi-breaking news that several have commented on Facebook and YouTube that Max Mata is out with a calf for the next 2 games, according to Steve Corica. Which does change things slightly.
Right. What does he do? Does he play? Who's he playing up top then? Moreno?
Maybe even a Rogerson, or play as a single striker with. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we get a single striker.
That's a curveball for sure.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Moreno is. I know he's starting and stuff, but you can see him very easily starting up top if you needed him to. Right? He's got that. Yeah. He's got that about him, hasn't he? He's very good on the ball, good positional awareness, and got a hell of a shot on him. We didn't mention, but he tried to score that from the halfway line or whatever it was on Saturday. He almost caught the keeper out. It's brilliant. So yeah, he could do it, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Just trying to look up the squad as well. I think the only other recognised forward in there. So, according to UltimateAleague.com, there's 4 out-and-out forwards: Mata, Mai, Jesse Randall, and Jonty Bidwa, who's been recalled into the squad this week for Finn McKinley. But yeah, he is a centre forward. But where's he come from? Where's he come from? Is he? He's a young kid. His brother Riley is an all white. He's so he's got a bit about him, but he's just young and he's only had 11 minutes across 2 games this season. So it's be tough for it'd be tough for him to come in and do a job off from the start. But he might have something to do in the second half.
Moreno for you up front, Nathan.
I think so. Feel that? Yeah, I feel like he's got it, and it's not like you haven't got options in midfield, right? Away from home, you want to be a little bit more solid in the middle, so you get Vested back in, and can shuffle the pack that way.
Does Vishata come back in? Is he coming back in because he was a mainstay?
That's what I meant.
Last week. I'd even see him come into that dual pivot with Gallegos, and then Brimmer goes forward more as a 10.
That's right.
As well. I'd be more inclined to keep Moreno, Rogerson out wide. The inverted wingers. Mai would have to play centrally as a lone striker, but
he would. But he can do the job there. I mean, I think so. As we said, better that he doesn't, and he has a big guy playing off. But if he needed to. And what about Dan Hall? Is he? What do we do defense? Pinnaker's okay. He's all right for this week.
I vaguely remember Hall saying he was targeting the Jets game, but that's I think obviously coming a week early for him. But he was interviewed. Was it the Derby game a couple of weeks back on broadcast, and they had a chat with him about it. He said he was he's still tracking nicely, but there wasn't a set time for his return.
And Alex Paulson to retain his place, Matthew.
I feel like there's a loaded question there, but I would just about say so. Yes, he gets a third outing to Bucky's ideas up.
Because that goalie that warms up, the reserve goalie, he always seems keen and ready. So maybe Alex does need to.
I think Robbie would agree here. You always need a goalkeeper pushing a goalkeeper. You always want that to be a competitive battle. 2 guys vying for that spot.
Correct, and I can fully relate to being the unused sub. I was a reserve keeper for a long time at First 11. So yes, I was enthusiastic. I always won the best team man awards at the end of the season. I just clapped. That's all I could do.
This is a sad story.
Yeah.
No, look, but I had a New Zealand rep keeper in front of me. It was fine. And I was okay at best.
Yeah, but you were pushing him. You were making sure that he was keeping him honest.
Yeah.
Did you sit there with your gloves on, ready to go?
No.
No, because they do that. They do that, don't they? They tap them up and they're ready with the gloves. You know, the subs, sub goal.
It's a little bit eager.
Too keen,
in my
eh?
opinion. But,
It is, yeah.
No, I always found myself. I needed something to do, so I usually volunteered to be the linesman on my first 11 games. It kept me moving. It kept me in the game. You know?
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it. Yeah.
Which is why I stick up for match officials.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Vociferously. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Predictions. Thank you. Matthew, you can go first. How do we reckon we're going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I actually,
Jets.
I don't usually look at the opposition too much, but I noticed, I thought Robbie was going to come out with this though, but they score a lot of goals. They've actually scored, I think I've thought about 13, maybe 14 goals in the last 5 games. The funny thing is, I was looking at their form and you see 3 wins and then they've got 2 draws. And you instantly think when you see 2 draws, okay, there's going to be a 0-0. I think both of them are 2-2. So they've scored heaps of goals in 5 games, 13 goals in 5 games. So there's a goal in them at least. I'm going to go with the Desmond 2-2. 2-2.
Desmond 2-2. Nice. 2-2. All right.
Yeah. I think Auckland have got goals in them, and so have Newcastle. Yeah.
Well, Auckland have scored 10 in 2, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We're on form, you know. I mean, I know we dropped a point, but I still think this team's in great form.
Yeah. So in saying that, it'll probably be 0-0, but I'll leave it to the rest.
Robbie, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I do tend to agree with Matt. I think there's goals in this one. I think Auckland's defence will have a bit of a rocket up them from Bimby this week, from Corica. I don't expect them to concede 4 again. Jets do have goals in them. I kind of think a 2-1. They've got a couple of really key players. One's a Japanese import in Kota Mizunuma, who's absolutely ripping apart other teams at the moment, which has coincided with their run. Lockie Rose is scoring goals again. Yeah, I think the quality of Auckland's defence is better. I think 2-1. The change up top is kind of where I'm a little bit worried about it, and just how Auckland kind of reverts to the start of the season, and that kind of, you know, with Mai playing solely up top. But he's got confidence now. He's in scoring form. He's got pretty good support behind him, I think. Moreno, Rogerson, Brimmer. I think we should be okay.
Score? 2-1, do you say?
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1.
3-1.
3-1. Nathan? 2. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was gonna say 2-1 as well, but just for the sake of to be different, I'll go for a 3-1 win. I can't see us I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, but I can't see us not scoring. And so I would go a 2-goal margin, so 3-1.
3-1. All right. I remember the first game against Newcastle Jets. It was the 1-0 in the rain. Was it 1-0, 2-0?
Yes, I think it was
in the rain. 1-2
in the rain. 2.
2.
2-0. 2-0, I think.
2-0. Yes.
2-0. Yeah. 2-0 in the rain. I'm going to go
late goals.
I'm going to go 2-0 again. 2-0 again. Perfect symmetry. I reckon we'll go over there, do a job. 2-0.
Like it. Make
it easy. Then we'll be 11 points clear. 7 games to go.
And then we've won the league. Surely.
And then we've won the league. Is it good to win the league though? Because I still feel like do teams celebrate winning the league because winning the plate? Because I feel like to win the plate though, and then to go into this final situation and lose would be awful, wouldn't it?
Normally, yes, in Australia, because that means they're guaranteed a spot in the Asian Champions League, but that's not a thing for Auckland. It can't be.
Yeah.
So,
but it'd just be silverware. I mean, it'd be Premier's plate. I mean, that's a big deal still, right?
It's big, and you know, most football people put more credence on that, anyways. As over the course of a 30-game season,
win the league.
you're the best.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And
importantly, the Phoenix have never won the the plate or a grand final. Correct. So we would get in one season what they managed in 17, which would be fairly annoying, I imagine, for Wellington Phoenix fans. But hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, they had their chance last year and they blew it, so
Yeah, that's right.
They did. All right, gents, we are going to wrap it up. Show. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, boys.
Gents, and thank you for all the comments, everyone.
Comments are brilliant. We're all really excited about this run into the end of the season. So whatever you're doing this weekend, enjoy the game. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be watching at home probably. I think it's a 7:00 kickoff New Zealand time, I'd imagine. So
perfect.
Yeah. All right, guys. Up the port. We are out.
Up the port.
The port. Yeah, go on.
Thanks for listening.